All right, we're recording now. So, take my hat off. I'm inside the house. I had to unload my truck from weekend class. All my stuff. You go to Charlotte, you have to take everything. So, I just got in from outside. But the main thing I wanted to cover tonight is task stream. All of you coaches should have access under the evaluator tab. Go ahead and show you that. So click on evaluator in task stream and then go to fall 16, and then under select group it should have your name, and this should tell you everybody who is supposed to be finishing this semester. Hit search and then make sure you're on all available categories, any time period down here, and then continue, and it will show you everybody that you have this semester that's planning to finish, whether they're add-on or whether they're regular. This is the last group that they were housed together. You'll remember this was the last semester that everybody was in the 5-semester program, whether they were add-on or regular. Now, after this cohort, starting with fall 17, we have them separated, add-on and regular. So it makes it a little bit easier on us. But this is the last group. We've got everybody in there.
Dale, I just got on. Did you say fall of 16 there?
Fall of 16 is the folks. Now, we've got a few scattered 699s, and I'll work them individually. But the group that's looking to finish this semester, whether they're regular or add-on, now we had some add-ons that accelerated and finished in 4 semesters, and they were out in December. And then we had some that opted, the add-on licensure opted to stay in the 5 semester. So they'll be completing this semester. And if they were regular, like Brent there, one of my 2, this is time for them. So everybody in the fall of 16 that's still with us should be here. Now, you may have some that we haven't taken out that have graduated, but you should know who they are. They won't be on the master intern list. So if you've got one that you're unsure of, or if you don't remember that they finished last semester, you can look at the master list of interns that I sent you, and it will have who is still with us if you have a question. These 2 are my only 2 that are finishing this semester. They're both still with me. Brent, as you can see, he lacks the cap, and Janaea lacks everything from this semester. She's not turned it in yet. So I need to get an email out to these 2 tomorrow to Brent, reminding him. Of course, I talked to him last week, but I'm going to send him a follow-up email reminding him that he still owes us the cap to complete his portfolio. And I'll get an email out to Janaea that says, you owe me everything. Now,
it doesn't matter.
Looking at the calendar, today is Monday, April the 9th. Graduation is on Saturday, May the 12th. 1, 2, 3.
I don't know why you don't seem to listen. I've already got the volume up.
Monday, April 30th is going to be the drop dead day. Let me say that again. Monday, April 30th is the drop dead day. If they don't have everything in task stream by then, I can't get them on the list to get their name printed in the program for graduation. There has to be a cutoff date. I'm going to go a little bit later than we normally do because I think we can push the work through. I've done a little preliminary check, and we're looking really good on the number who already have their work in. So just as a preliminary look, I've only looked at about 25 so far, but of that 25, we just like a cap here, a log there, And most of them, as you can see, are designated with the X and finished. So it's not like we're going to have 100. I'm estimating that we're only going to have about 15 that, as of right now, haven't completed. Somewhere between 15 and 20. So I'm going to let them go until April the 30th. Now, after that, I can't. They'll just have to do a 699 this summer if they don't get their work in by April 30th, because that's stretching it. But the registrar is going to, I think, let me go that far. She's the one that is in charge of graduation, getting the programs printed, getting the either the diploma printed, or this year I am going to have certificates printed just like the diplomas. I may have to pay for it myself, but I talked with the registrar, the associate registrar, this morning about could we, and he's in charge specifically of the assessment of fees. We could charge a fee to our add-on licensure people to cover the commencement weekend, and that would pay for their certificate, the holder, and them being able to come to the right now we just invite them, but pay for that and them to be able to come to the reception. One of the things that we're missing out on is we should be, and I talked to him today, we could go retroactive back and offer our people for a small fee the opportunity to have a printed certificate that looks like a diploma to hang on their wall. But one of the reasons that we're trying, or I'm trying to get these people more involved is they are alumni, they are graduates, and I set up my little shop to hand out the certificates, and they get their diploma if they graduate when they go through the line, but their certificates at the reception, and I set up next to the alumni sign-up desk. We could sign them up as alumni. I don't know if they'll ever give us any money, but it would be a good idea not to ignore these people. How many hundred add-on licensure people have come in on this program and finished, and we have no contact with them? Going forward, the majority of our students are now add-ons. We're ignoring a big segment of our population that we could keep in contact with and might be a source of revenue for the alumni people. I don't know, worth a shot. But I would like to see them have a nice certificate like when they graduated them. So I'm working to get the certificates this semester. As I said, I may just have to pay for them myself, but we don't have that many add-ons this semester. And then see if we can start charging a fee, a small fee, going forward, where that would be a part of the commencement weekend that we would invite those people, and they would get a packet that looks like the diploma with a certificate, a real one, embossed with the cover, like we do for the graduates. So I'm working on that right now. I think we've got that done. But I think we can go as late as April the 30th on getting these task string portfolios done. So if you would, move this out of the way. Again, when you go to task string, when it loads, go to the evaluator tab and then to the all 16 semester, select group, and it'll have your name, search, make sure it's all available categories in any time period, continue, and it will show you your people, and you can slide across. You can slide across and see what work they lack. As I said, my two, Brent owes me the cap, and Janae, she still owes me all the things from this semester. So I'll get an email out to them tomorrow. So it's now, we got 3 weeks. We normally wait to 2 weeks. I'd like to get maybe a week early jump on notifications. Hey, you still owe us this. We normally wait till 2 weeks before the drop dead to do that. It wouldn't be a bad idea to get a week jump on it this year. I'd rather be a little earlier than a little bit late. That way they have 3 weeks notice. You got 3 weeks. We can't do the work for them, but we can remind them. So that's how you access them. Now I can go in and see them all, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm double checking, and so I'm going to have a master list, but I'd like for you to go ahead and look at yours and see what you see. I can go into Evaluation Manager. go to the fall and do all authors and a search and continue, and it will show me everybody. So as soon as it loads here, you can see there's my student Brent. There he is. So I can see everybody's. Now, you may have some, like the first one in the line here, you may have John Abernathy. John's not, we don't take them out. Even if they drop out, they have to stay in task string. So if you see one like this that doesn't have anything, what you then need to do is go to the list of the intern list for spring 18 that I sent you. It looks like this. The title on it is Copy of Master Interns Spring 2018. I should just I'll email this one to you again tonight when I send you out a copy. And then when you get here, you just go to the all MELS list and it will tell you if they're still enrolled with us. It will tell you if it has all 315 students on that list. And so if you have one and you're unsure of that person, you can come to this list. And I have some people up here at the top that are not from this DRF but are still with us. They are add-on licensure people from other programs and some of our holdovers from years past. So we can look and see who was that student that I was just looking at. John Abernathy. So I go to my master list. I see he's not done anything. And I go and look and I see that he's no longer on the list. So there's no need for me to send him there. Hopefully you won't have too many of those, but you may have some that have no work in there or very little. Double check to make sure they're still on the roster before you send them an email. But try to get an email out. It means I'll send one as well, but coming from you, it may spur them on to do that. So, but we're looking for completers. We got 3 weeks. I'd like to get this process wrapped up as quickly as possible. But you can look at the master list to see if they're still on your list if you've got them in your DRF as your students. Anybody have any questions on that? April 30th is the drop dead day. Can't go later than that. If their work comes in later than that, they'll have to finish in the summer. Everybody good on task stream?
Good.
All right. Everybody keeping up with their clinical shells? I check on those about every day. Looks like everybody's keeping up with that work. Turnitin has gone well. Seems like the intern shells, we're getting a lot of use out of those. Danny and I, we have a little system where we work with them in the class shell one time, and if it takes more than one time, we refer them to the clinical shell and tell them they're going to have to start. They have to go to that one and start, so we can work. The coach can work more intensively with them. It keeps us from having to slow down the class. Pacing's everything. And for all of us who are teaching 603, try to get 9 tasks out of them this semester. I've told you that before, but I'll reiterate. Try to get all the OMA, which is 4 tasks, all of the skip, which is 4, and the first task of the cap. If you don't, for these add-on sections that we're teaching in 603, it's going to stretch us to get them done this summer. So we need to try to get all of the skip and OMA at least out of them this spring. So my point is, I have waived all peer review Zooms except for skip 1 and cap 1, task 1 of each of those. The skip, and for the 4 tasks of the skip, they only have to do 1 Zoom peer review, and they only have to do 1 for cap 1. They still have to do the written reviews, but you can waive some. You don't have to do a video Zoom review every task. That's what tends to slow them down. So we need to pick up the pace now. We've got So we got this week, next week, 3 weeks. We got 4 weeks left. Starting today, we've got 1, 2, 3. We got 4 weeks left, and so we need to be. We need to be 603 people. Need to be pushing them to get all of the OMA, all of the skip, and Cap 1 if we can this semester. If they get a start on the cap, we'll be able to finish with them this summer. That's how well we do with them this spring is going to determine how many of them get through this summer. As you know, this summer, it's a busy time for them with testing, closing out the school year. They only have about 6 weeks before everything is due in task stream. I'll probably try to push it out to 8 weeks if I can. But, I'll have to cut it off 2 weeks before, just like I do this semester, so we can get the graduation stuff done. So push them as hard as you can in 603. Speaking of graduation, if people have graduation questions for this semester, have them get in touch with Seth. Please, if one of them gets in touch with you and said, I'm finishing this summer and I tried to go in and register for graduation, it won't let them it won't let them yet because they haven't been rolled over. Seth's doing that. He's going to do that early. I had him start on that today so that they can, by next week, they can start applying for graduation for summer. That's people that are finishing this summer, but they can't register for graduation until Seth does the automatic rollover. So I had him start that today so that we would not be up against the deadline as we usually are getting students registered for graduation. Everything we do doesn't have to be a crisis. We can actually do a little planning ahead. I know that goes against the grain of how we normally do things, but we don't have to fall off every bridge when we get to it. We can cross one. It's okay to actually look like you're competent every once in a while. So we're doing that. So Seth will have those rolled in by tomorrow, and they'll be able to start. We won't tell them this week, but next week we'll remind all your folks who are looking for summer graduation. That would be our 603 add-ons and our 2604 sections. Remind them that beginning next week, they can go ahead and register for graduation this summer, and we can get that taken care of. The reason why that's always a problem is we don't find out about financial holes and graduate school holes and survey holes until they go to register for graduation. Then we find these holes, and then we're always up against the deadline the last 2 weeks trying to get those holes cleared that we didn't know about. And the quicker they go in to register, the quicker we find out that they have a hold of some sort that won't let them register for graduation. Let's do a little work up front. It'll be a lot easier on us this summer. I don't want to be running around with my hair on fire this summer. That's why I have no hair, because I've burned it off trying to get ready for summer graduation every year. It's the same thing every year. I'm here day and night and sleep in my office trying to get everything done for summer graduation. I'd like not to do that this summer. And on an aside, we have moved the CILD back into July, and it couldn't come at a worse time for us, right when the deadline for the work's going to be, the weekend of July 13, 14, 15. That'll be the cutoff weekend. We're going to have CILD at that time. Now, we had a meeting this morning, and I lobbied, and I don't know, maybe everybody agreed with me, or maybe they were just afraid to say no. We're not going to do any staff development at CILD this summer. Let me say that again. We are not doing staff development at CILD. So you won't have to come in July for staff development and then turn around and come again in August for staff development. We're going to do all the staff development in the August session where it's supposed to be. We're not doing it in the CILD this summer. I know last summer we did it in both, and that meant you had to travel 2 times. It wasn't as bad because you had a month in between, but I don't want you here in July. If you want to come in July, feel obligated to come in July and then turn around and come back 3 weeks later for the August conference. That didn't make any sense. And so the CILD in July will be only for candidates. Now, I developed a document today as a result of that meeting that I want to share with you. I'll have to open it up. So to that end, the CILD this summer, I developed this document. I hope you can see it on your screen. The conference will be Friday and Saturday, July 13th, 14th in the Tucker Student Center. The way it's going to work is we will have 7 candidate interest sessions. And I'm partnering with Cheryl in instructional technology. And so it says we're seeking faculty, candidates, and practitioners, and faculty, that'd be us, to present candidate interest sessions for the candidates in the Master of Arts in Instructional Technology and Masters of Executive Leadership Studies, the MEL program tracks at CILD this summer. Here are the 10 topics that Cheryl and I have agreed on. These mostly came from our collaborative partner meetings during the year, who are K-12 administrators in the state of North Carolina. We have a collaborative group of principals and superintendents. And one of the things that we're required to do if we get CAPE accreditation is we have to have these collaborative groups, and they have to tell us what they think that we need to do with our students in terms of staff development when we have these activities. And here are the things that I'm asking for. I'm going to send this out. It's basically people can choose which session on which day and which of these topics that they would like to present an interest session on for students. Now, you can name it whatever you want, but these are the categories that I'm looking for people to do presentations this summer. Effective face-to-face communication, effective virtual communication, managing conflict in face-to-face settings, managing conflict in virtual settings, effective practices in face-to-face coaching, effective practices in virtual coaching, effective school marketing utilizing traditional media, effective school marketing utilizing virtual technology and or social media, technology and leadership, and new assistant principal and new instructional technology specialist development. These are things that over the year, from over the year that have popped up as things that our candidates, they've either given us feedback that they'd like more help in, or things that I have seen that we should do, like coaching. And the first 4 are things that came directly. They were the top 2, and I've made 4 out of them. These are the top 4 things that our collaborative partners wanted to see us do at CILD. Now, I looked into hiring a company that does simulations to do the first 2. There is no money to hire them, though. There's actually no money for this conference, so I don't know how Bruce is going to pull it off, but that's up to him. He says there's no money, but we're going to do it anyway. So, but we don't have money to hire people to come in and do simulations. But I would still like for us to do some sessions on these topics. I wish that they could be simulations where we had simulations set up where we would do participant activities. We might be able to do that if people can come in and do that for us, but I can't hire it done. I don't have the money. That was my dream this year, was to have the money to hire this. I met these people, and they're out of Carborough, Chapel Hill, and they do a lot of work there in Chapel Hill school system. They do a lot of this, and I met some people there that had gone through this and were really pleased with what they had gotten. But the cost is $5,000 plus expenses. And so it would be something like $7,500 to do that, and we don't have $75. And I can't find it within my heart to loan money to people that can't manage their budget, so I'm not giving them the money either. So that's another story entirely. But that's kind of what we're going to be doing. I'm going to send you this as well. I'll be sending you this along with the master list of interns so you can be checking in task stream. And if you have interest in doing one of these sessions, I would certainly love to have you professionals doing this. I'm sure by another month I'll be out beating the bushes trying to find people to fill up these slots for us. So we have 7 sessions, and as you can see, I took notes today, and this is kind of what the daily schedules are going to look like each day, and when the sessions are going to be. I know a lot of times folks hesitate to sign up because, I can't be there on Friday, or I can't be there on Saturday, but I can be there the other day. So I think we'll get better interest if we tell people they can choose what time they want and what day they want to present. Some people have to leave early if they're trying to get back. I know which session I'll be doing. It will be session number 7, the last day, the last hour. I've already put my name. I've already penciled my name in on that one. Not my first day. So, but I would love to see you folks. I know you have a lot of skill and ability that you could share with our candidates. It would give them the opportunity to share in your knowledge. And hopefully some of them, we might have some doctoral students that want to do some presentations for us. I'm kind of hoping that we'll get some of that. So I'm going to send this to our LS graduates, the ones that are our LS candidates that are in the EDLS doctoral program. I might have some in our DEOL program that might want to come and share some of these things. We do a lot of social media type things in that, and so maybe we'll get somebody from a doctoral student in DEOL that could help us, but I'd prefer as many faculty members as possible to do this. So I'll send you this as well. So that's what I'm working on lately.
What are the dates for the August training?
We don't have those yet. We talked about that today. We'll probably set those at assessment day. Assessment day for us is Monday, May the 14th. Assessment day is when we start working on the August event. That's what that day is set aside for. And we all, today was just department chairs. The entire faculty has to be present, and we have to have a quorum on assessment day. That's a required day, and that's the day we sit down and start doing our assessment of what we need to offer and when and where and what we need to do so I'll have to bring data into that session that says, these are the things that we did well this year. These are the things that we didn't do well. As a MELS faculty, this is the training this is the sessions that we need at that set. And by the time that day is, that's a full day. By the time that day is over with, we will have our dates and we will have our topics finalized that day. The undergraduate faculty will be a part of that, as well as all the graduate faculty, whether you're a chair or not. Everybody will be there that day. So be looking for that information to come out. I'll send that as soon as that session's over that day. On the 15th of May, no later, I will send out what we'll be doing and when we'll be doing it in August. So we do have that date. We have the day set that will determine the day. Everything moves quickly around here, as you can see.
Dale, may I ask one question?
Sure.
Where is the university at in the search for our new School of Ed dean, or am I behind things?
We've had everybody come in, and we talked about that today. The search committee has sent 2 names up the hill, and Bruce said today that he was hoping that he would have known something today or last Friday at the School of Ed monthly faculty meeting, but we haven't heard anything from up the hill.
Okay.
2 names went up the hill of the 4 that were here. 2 names went up the hill.
Well, do you think Bruce will let us know something when that
As soon as we know, we're going to let you know.
Okay, great.
We are planning for that dean now. As you can see on this, we've already got that person penciled in for a welcome from the new SOE dean in July. So we're assuming we're going to have one in place by this time. I don't know where they are. We had 3 external and 1 internal candidate that came and each of them spent 2 days on campus and met with people up the hill in the community and met with us, and we had lunch. They met with students, undergraduate students, and they did a presentation. I'll keep my thoughts to myself. You can tell I'm overjoyed.
So, where are we on your position? Are you going to continue in our chair?
Do what now?
Are you going to continue as the interim for us in MELS program or officially?
Well, I guess I'll continue as interim until they hire somebody to tell me to go home. I'm hoping they'll hire somebody and tell me to go home.
Well, I really hope they don't. I tell you, you have done so much for this program.
Well, thank you. I mean, my hat's in the, well, I guess my hat's in the ring with everybody else, and so I haven't really heard anything about what was going on with that either. I mean, nothing's been talked about on that, and so they just told me to go until they said stop, and so I said, well, I'm just going to continue on like business as usual. I wish that they would start a formal process.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what they're going to do. They haven't really said what they're going to do with that. They put it out an advertisement months ago, and just basically said it would be open until they filled it. And so I don't know what that means. And so I'm just working off the assumption that I'm going to keep going until they find somebody else, or until they tell me that I'll keep on going. So.
Well, we certainly have been blessed to have you be able to step in and take over like you have.
I mean, I've enjoyed it. I mean, I'll just keep on going until they tell me different. That's all I can do. I mean, if they're happy, then fine. If they aren't, then they need to find them somebody different.
Well, Dale, I think everybody would agree the fact that this is the best communication we ever had, and as far as professors go. I mean, the constant meetings, the feedback you give. I mean, it's never been, in my opinion, it's never been this good before. That's to alleviate a lot of stress for a lot of us.
But we've got good. I'm working with good people.
Well, good people are kind of modeled from their leader.
Well, we're doing well right now. That's the feedback that I continue to get, is that we're doing well. I'm very pleased. I'm working on your summer shells right now. I'll have those done before long. And I'm also, I guess, a masochist. I'm doing the Quality Matters program right now, the learning program. 2 weeks of classes. I'm in my 2nd week now with all the learning modules. But I think it will make us better in terms of designing shells for our students. If I didn't, I wouldn't be doing it to myself because it's optional. But I think we'll get better. But in part of what I'm doing, and so I want to tell you folks up front so you can hear this third hand. And what I'm also doing is I have proposed a new program track in MELS. That would be competency based, would be one shell. And students wouldn't have an instructor, they would have a coach. You would have those. Now, the coaching would pay a lot more for them, but you would coach them. The only thing, they wouldn't have a class. It would just, they would go to their shell, they'd do their 6 evidence artifacts, 3 rounds of competencies, and that's what they would do. And it would be a non-licensure master's program. There'd be no clinical piece, no internship log, no hours, no visits, no CC1, none of that stuff. This would be specifically for people who are in private schools and charter schools and church schools and out-of-state schools. It would be specifically for them. And it would serve as a new area for us to continue to bring students in, but also it would help us with some of these problems we're having with these folks who we have in the traditional program that we're struggling to get through because they really don't have the opportunity to intern somewhere. You all know as well as I do, when we have folks right now in private charters and church schools, it's like pulling teeth to get them through because they don't really have an opportunity to intern. They don't, most of them don't even have a certified administrator at their site. And it would help us to put some more rigor and standards in our traditional program. We could separate those people into a non-licensure program, and we wouldn't be beating our head against the wall trying to get better work out of them all the time when we know that they don't have anybody to model for them, or they're not doing clinical experiences. That would help with the rigor, because I think we would all admit that we've got some students that don't need to be in the program because they really don't have the opportunity to do clinical experiences. And you can tell in the writing and the work that they produce that they can't do clinical experiences. Well, this would be a way to separate them into a non-licensure program. We could pick up some more people. We could pick up some out-of-state people. And it would be, we could do it as a competency shell. We open the shell up, we stick a student in it. The directions are there. They just start working, and when they need help, they just click on AppSell for review, put their task 1 in, and you give them comments and just keep on going. I think it's basically the Western Governors model. That's what you understand, that Western Governors has come to the state now, and theirs is a non-licensure program, and they just have a coach and not an instructor. Why can't we do that? We set ours up to do that. We might can get some of that market share. I'm hoping that we can.
Oh, great.
Well, does DPI play anywhere involved in any of this?
It's non-licensure.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So they're totally left out. They're totally out of it.
They're totally out of it. Wouldn't have to go through that process. It would be an extension of an existing program. We wouldn't have to go through all the stuff to get a new degree or any of that started. They'd get a master's of executive leadership, non-licensure. It would be very inexpensive. I've talked to the provost. I've talked to the graduate school dean, Bruce. I've written them a proposal. They've been receptive. Now, whether we'll do it or not, the graduate school dean likes it because he'd like to see somebody venture into competency-based education. It would be an avenue of growth for us, bring in new students, new revenue. I think we could get people to sign up for it, non-licensure. On a related note, we're making our South Carolina people do the portfolio, which I think is wonderful still. But they have to take the praxis, and so I've been working with some of them on the side. And I had my first one to take his praxis last week, and he passed with flying colors. So we must be doing something right. Pete Tyndall from West Oak High School down near Clemson, he was our first one. And he said the praxis, from what he'd learned in the courses, he said the praxis was a breeze. So I was very heartened by that our folks are getting the right stuff, and that they're getting a quality program, that the praxis was easy, as he said.
Dale, if I could add there, Sarah, in that 605 face-to-face that I'm doing in Charlotte.
Yes.
She took it, I think 2 weeks ago, and she said the same. She passed. She's
Great. That's great news.
Yeah, she passed as well. So she's a Rock Hill.
Yeah. And let me write myself a note. I'm going to send you all. Let's see, I'm going to send you the spreadsheet, Excel, and I'm going to send you the CILD announcement. I'm also going to send you this. Let me get to where I want to get to here. Okay, so this is what was working with Henry with, or he goes by D. Let me see. And I'm going to send this to you folks as well. This is the study guide that they should be using. There's a lot of them on the market. This was the one that I had recommended to me by South Carolina people that are in DPI and administrators. This one right here. This is the one I had D to use, and he said it was great. So his feedback to me was, let's see. Thank you for the recommendation for the practice study guide. I took the exam this morning, passed with flying colors. He said the study guide was good and the things that he had learned was good. And so that was really good to know. So I'm going to make sure that I send this link to you as well. When we should be recommending this to our South Carolina people who are taking the praxis. This is it right here. So I will make sure that I send that link to you. It's a relatively inexpensive study guide, and they say it's really good. It's really easy. Doesn't cost that much money. There's dozens of them out there on the market. This one's at Amazon. This is the one that the South Carolina people told me that we should be using. And so Dee said it was really good. I talked to him as well. So that's good to know. So, your worst nightmare is you start a program to expand to a new state. The students get through your program and start taking the exam and can't pass the exam. That's a little concerning. So I'm appreciative of that feedback from Dee. All right, what's next? Anything in Blackboard? Shells seem to be working fine. Everything's good. One of the things that I do when I go in and look at the shells is I just look at the number of participants. And one of the things I really like, and I'll use myself as the bad example here, one of the things that I really like seeing when I go into these shells, I'll dial mine up right quick. This is how it's supposed to look. Now, I haven't fudged it. It's mine. This is how it's supposed to look. This is what makes me happy. When I go into my shell and I click on discussions, and I see that the number of participants goes down every time. I had to help 18 of them for the first task. But then I only had to help 13. Then I only had to help 8, then 2. And then, of course, it starts back up when they get to the app tell. The number goes back up again. But it starts coming down. So what we want to see is it doesn't bother me that a lot of them need help. But what would bother me if that number doesn't come down for every task? It's kind of like, teach a person to fish kind of thing. Once they kind of get it and you help them and they kind of catch on, fewer and fewer need our help as we go. It's not that I don't want to help, but that speaks to the quality of the coaching that you folks are doing. That I'm seeing that consistently in all the shells. That once we work with these people, because we're giving them quality assistance, they don't need as much, and that's kind of the whole idea here is that we can't do their work for them, and we're trying to teach them to be independent and to learn to do this stuff on their own. And these shells give me hope because I see the numbers dropping, and so when we go in for task for review. When we go into the grade center, I see fewer and fewer in there as well that need help. But this is where they need coaching help. I'm seeing the numbers initially be big, but then come down, and that's good. But here's a good thing as well. 39 needed help with the first task of the app cell, and it came down each task. 14, no, let's see. yeah. 28 needed help to start the AppTel, so it came down from 39 to 28, and again, the numbers dropped. So not only do the numbers drop from each task, but from the first task of the AppSell to the first task of the AppTel, fewer students needed coaching help. That means that, you know, that's a double good thing. They're catching on as we go. And that has to be due to the quality of the coaching that they're getting, the feedback that you're giving them. That's, you know, that's why I said, from all indicators that I can see and all the feedback that I'm getting, you know, things are going well for our students, and I'm appreciative of that, and that's directly responsible to the folks who are providing the program. I sent you out the summer assignments. There was only one adjustment in that, and so I'm anticipating that will be our summer assignments. I sent that out last week as soon as I was given the okay on Friday. Now that's not set in stone. They still grumbling around about wanting to collapse some sections, but I'm advocating not to do that. If we do collapse, I'm advocating that we collapse some of the 4 into 2, and I'll take the 2 and not just start spreading them around and overload everybody. And I have told them we've got 8 sections of 603. I would prefer that we collapse 4 into 2, and I'll take the 2 rather than making 6 people mad. I'll just be the grumbling one, because I talk to myself all the time anyway, so I can just complain to myself privately. I'd rather that to happen than I have 6 mad instructors who have now 25 or 28 in their class this summer. I don't think that's a good idea. We'd be better just collapsing 4 into 2, the 4 smallest ones into 2, and I take those, and everybody else have a normal load. So that's the only other thing that could kind of mess up our schedule. But as of right now, I had to give them a schedule with that in it. But right now, they said if nothing changes, they are going to go with the schedule that I sent to you on Friday. So I'm hoping that they won't just all of a sudden have a crazy fit and decide to start collapsing and putting 25 and 30 students in classes. Malia got back in touch with me today. Malia's going to have 22 in her class this summer, and she's right. We ought to split that into 2 11s, but and I have advocated that we shouldn't be having that. Our number should not be for a max should not be 25. It should be 15. You can't make up all the deficit that the undergraduate is generating on our backs. We don't need to have 25 students in a class. That's just too many. We ought to be capped at 15. But that's something to work toward down the road. I advocate for things like that every time I get the opportunity. They don't like hearing that sometimes, but the truth is never a bad thing. So I'm hoping that we're not going to be foolish enough to start doubling up classes. Not when I walk in this building and see English classes on the undergraduate side with 4 in them. But that's another story entirely. Other questions that you have for me? I'm answering emails, and so Rod's checking out. That's good. He's got dinner reservations. I don't blame him. He's at the beach. I'd leave too. All right, I've got to move along. I got to work on my QM shells tonight for my class, and I'm gonna be on the road tomorrow. But I'm always available. Call me. I'll be back on campus on Wednesday. I've got a meeting tomorrow, but it's Jeff's, and we're gonna do it virtually for TEC tomorrow. So I'll be back on campus Wednesday. So if you need anything, let me know. But I can be reached tomorrow. I'm going to be on the road, but I can be reached. All right. Anything else for the good of the group before we go? All right. My plan is to meet again in 2 weeks. If we need to, we're having another CILD meeting on Monday the 16th. So if anything comes out of that, I'll let you know. But as of now, we'll just meet again on the 23rd. And remember, the drop dead date is the 30th. So be getting those notices out to students who still have work left to do. Let's not come up with a bunch last week that don't get through this spring. All right. I'll send you the recording and I'll send you these materials and this link for the practice study guide for you South Carolina people. I appreciate what you do, and I know the students do. I get comments and compliments on you every day, and I'm appreciative of that. So I will see you, if nothing else, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Y'all have a good day. Good evening. I'll see you next time.
Evening.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Dale. Hi, everybody.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.
Night, John Boy.